many of these users do they actually have? And I have an estimate. I think it's about 5 million. There's about 450 million Office.
January 2025 delivered what can only be described as a corporate meltdown during Microsoft's quarterly earnings call. When Satya Nadella faced questions about Copilot adoption rates, the conversation took an uncomfortable turn. He dodged. He offered nebulous talking points about robust enterprise interest and expanding engagement metrics. But analysts weren't satisfied with corporate speak. They demanded concrete figures. How many businesses are actually deploying Copilot on a daily basis? Of the 400 million Microsoft 365 subscribers, how many are willing to fork over an additional $30 monthly for Copilot access? Nadella's refusal to disclose those numbers spoke volumes to Wall Street. In the technology sector, when executives dodge adoption statistics, it typically signals those figures are deeply embarrassing. Within mere hours of that call, leaked internal Microsoft documentation explained precisely why Nadella remained tight. After 2 full years of availability and billions poured into development expenses, a mere 4% of eligible Microsoft 365 users have actually subscribed to Copilot. That translates to just 16 million users from a potential pool of 400 million. The situation deteriorates further when examining actual usage patterns of those 16 million paying subscribers. Only 38% engage with the service more than once weekly. Microsoft wagered the corporation's entire future trajectory on artificial intelligence, embedded Copilot throughout their entire ecosystem, invested $13 billion in their OpenAI partnership, and users are overwhelmingly walking away from it. Copilot isn't merely underperforming against projections, it's rapidly becoming Microsoft's most catastrophic product failure since the Windows Phone debacle. The adoption statistics Microsoft refuses to publicly acknowledge paint a devastating picture.
Will they deliver enough value for people to increase what they're spending from $100 to $360 a year? And I think the answer is that we don't see it today.
Microsoft unveiled Copilot for Microsoft 365 in March 2023, rolling it out for general availability that November with a $30 per user monthly price tag stacked on top of existing Microsoft 365 subscription costs. The value proposition sounded transformative at the time, an AI assistant seamlessly woven into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams that would fundamentally revolutionize workplace productivity. Draft correspondence, build presentations, analyze spreadsheet data, distill meeting conversations into actionable summaries. Microsoft's internal forecasts projected that 40% of their Microsoft 365 user base would embrace Copilot within 18 months. That trajectory would have delivered 160 million subscribers by generating a staggering $57.60 billion in annual revenue at the $30 per user rate. The reality unfolding proves catastrophically different from those projections. Internal adoption tracking reveals just 16 million Copilot subscribers as of December 2024. That represents a 4% adoption rate. Microsoft missed their forecast by a jaw-dropping 90%. Yet raw subscription figures only scratch the surface of deeper systemic problems. The leaked documentation includes granular usage analytics that expose uncomfortable truths. Of those 16 million subscribers, only 6.1 million actually engaged with Copilot during the preceding 30-day period. That's 38% of paying customers actively utilizing a product. They're spending $360 annually to access. The remaining 62% maintain subscriptions but essentially never touch the service.
Microsoft deployed Copilot for M365 to 330,000 employees and contractors.
Microsoft pursued enterprise customers with aggressive tactics, rolling out complimentary pilot programs. Organizations could test Copilot with 100 to 500 employees for 90-day periods at zero cost. Microsoft executed these trial programs with 3,400 companies spanning January through October 2024. The strategic objective was straightforward: convert pilot participants into committed paying deployments, get organizations dependent during the free trial window, then they'd subscribe for their entire workforce. The actual conversion rate tells a devastating story, just 11%. Only 374 companies from that pool of 3,400 actually purchased Copilot licenses after their complimentary trials concluded. That represents an 89% rejection rate. The situation grows even bleaker upon closer examination. Of the 374 organizations that did proceed with purchases, 197 bought licenses covering fewer employees than participated in the original pilot. They actively reduced deployment scope. One corporation tested Copilot with 500 employees, then purchased licenses for merely 50. That's a 90% reduction in scale. They identified a narrow group who might extract some value and eliminated everyone else from the deployment. That's not successful adoption, that's the absolute minimum viable implementation. What drove enterprises to reject Copilot so decisively? Exit surveys from pilot programs tell the unvarnished story. Deloitte conducted a pilot involving 2,000 consultants. After the 90-day evaluation period, they declined to purchase any licenses. Their internal assessment was damning. Copilot's email drafting routinely misses crucial tone and contextual nuance. Excel analysis generates fundamental errors requiring manual verification and correction.